Hello, hello. How are we doing, folks? How you doing, Marcus M? Thanks. They're for sale on Shopify. I am a sleepy looking man. I'm a man who probably fell asleep on his daughter's floor during nighttime. These are the sacrifices we make for hobby mediocrity. What are you guys working on tonight? Are you guys hobbying? Or are you just hanging? Yeah, all too familiar. I know you know. International trade theory. Well, that's exciting. We're taking a business class? You're an econ major. Oh. Working on your not suzerains? Nice. One second. Gotta add some people. Wife is out of town. Oh, wow. Yeah, but you got the 2 kids. I felt like I never got a chance to do hobby stuff when the wife was out of town. I am working on some Cataphracta Terminators. They are going to actually be a squad of Morlocks. Yeah. John, did you ever make fire drakes? Because those guys in this edition, I played a game with Ben this weekend. Those things are freaking terrifying. Marcus, if well, you really after I would have figured that would have been something you would have made a while ago. Well, if you want some bits, if you want me to hook you up with some bits to ever make some of those are great. You should. Maybe I'll get it out by Friday. Should have made some. Yeah, exactly. Should have made some last edition. They were good last edition. They're even better this edition, I think. But Ben and I played a game, and I don't know, maybe I'll get it out this weekend. We recorded a little bit of talk about the game because it's our last Beta Garmin game, and he's played them several times. It was the first time that they truly like entirely popped off and just it was brutal. We played that 4,000 point game that I've been talking about, where we were playing both of us playing both sides. It was a lot of fun. Zach said he's not going to make it tonight to the stream, which is good because he was miserable, I think, after watching the stream last time. Well, they're actually in the hobby channel. Oops. I wonder how bad that would sound. So Marcus, some of our other friends from Des Moines, they're in a Discord channel, just doing a hobby chat right now. And they're like, "Is a hobby chat with us? Are you too good for that?" To which I said, "Of course, yes, I am too good for that." Joke. But I wonder how it would sound if I just joined that and then had that while I was live streaming. I bet that would, I'm not sure. Yes, it is the Jonathan that did the ZM board. He is that guy. You know, he's got a whole ZM board that is still in boxes somewhere, I think. Don't mean to at you or anything, John, but so how's Econ coming? Riveting? I bet. Are you all in midterms now? Or pretty? You got to be pretty close to it. It's rough right now. Yeah, it's rough out there. You gonna be around? You gonna be around in April? Because if you are, I think Ben is going to be hosting an event. You should, or just come hang out if nothing else. Look at you pumping up me up in the Discord, Marcus. What a gentleman you are. I should check my email. Nope, no listener questions. Oh. In your pile of opportunity. That's very good. Yeah, you would love to play Death Guard, especially with your old list with all their heavy weapons and stuff. Because now they can just walk and shoot those things. And autocannons are much better this edition than they were last edition. It's your time to shine. Hey, Joe. What's going on? Yeah, so basically the Legion trait for the Death Guard essentially gives them into all of them relentless, essentially. So they can walk, they can move and fire heavy weapons, and their movement never prevents them from doing so. Which also means, I think, strangely, that their vehicles have a little bit of a loophole, and they can move extra far and still shoot all their weapons. I think I haven't really looked into that, but regardless, it just means that, like, for example, DA proxies. Well, that's fun. So one of the things it means, Marcus, is that like lists that have heavy weapon squads, like the Reaping, which is a right of war that they used to have, where they could take heavy weapons choices as troops. Well, you can still do that, but now they can like move and fire. But or if you, one of the things that I thought was interesting was that if you take them in a like a drop pod assault list, for example, then your heavy weapon squads can jump out of a drop pod and just start shooting, which is pretty sweet too. And not snap shooting. So I haven't actually seen a lot of people be really excited about Death Guard this edition, which is interesting because it's not as, I don't know, maybe there aren't as many people that play them as I thought there were. But the rules seem pretty solid and definitely open up some opportunities for some fun things. I think they might, specifically the drop pod right of war, I think they might be one of the legions that can make that the most fun. But the Reaping also just looks like a blast. Pretty much everyone is running, or at least if you go to Adepticon, I'm predicting that I'll see like 60% of players at least have a 10-man last cannon squad, just because they're really good. And so like having a 10-man last cannon squad or even something a little bit smaller than that that can move and fire sounds pretty good. Why Dark Angels out of all things? No, I mean I have Dark Angels, so I'm not judging you, Joe. I'm just curious. Yeah, it does work for the vehicles too. Oh yeah, you would know. You've been looking at that a little bit. Oh, Mobius. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and I think the the Volkite on the heavy weapon squad is pretty good. It all got more and more shot this edition, so it's actually pretty strong on those heavy weapon squads. Last cannons are bonkers right now, but auto cannons are still good. With Rend, they're good. Volkite is pretty good, especially against mass infantry. Yeah, I mean, that's the fun thing about playing anything with an allied detachment to Alpha Legion is that you can have all the fun you want. I mean, you can say they're all actually Alpha Legion. Yeah, I knew what you meant, Marcus. It is a lot of fun to think of like little allied detachments that you could bring for things. One of the things that I was really excited about when the edition started to leak from some of the playtest rules was the fact that there were so many um we were seeing so many warlord traits that had um like provisions for playing like your legion with a specific uh allied detachment, like the Sons of Horus, for example, for the White Scars and a couple of others. um and I was a little disappointed to see that didn't become as big of a thing. It was only in a couple of places. It's really fluffy and appropriate where it is included, but for something like the Alpha Legion, I think it's a mistake not to. Like, it would be really cool to have like a special character that basically allows you to like change the ally chart or invalidate the certain rule and make everything sworn brothers or something, so you could bring anything weird you wanted to because of generic shenanigans. Yeah, your reaping list has 4 heavy weapons teams. I think it's dumb not to if you're gonna play reaping. It's sort of like the thing to do with that list. And especially considering how you can give every one of them an off-spec scanner so they can get a free interact. Mobius config allows for that? Oh, really? It does. I didn't know that. Well, then I should just maybe read the rules. John, I never actually went through and read any of the Alpha Legion rules after our supposed intended narrative game that didn't end up working out like it was supposed to. And Joe, you're having quite a bit of fun playing your Alpha Legion, right? I know I'd seen a couple people who were really distressed about their Alpha Legion, the way that it worked this edition, and I didn't exactly understand it. Well, that's cool. Any Astartes allied detachment becomes sworn brothers, can't use any reactions, counts for no VPs for being destroyed, and gives 1 VP if they all die. That's cool. That's very cool. That's very fluffy. Almost makes me forgive them for taking away Alfarius's ability to hide in tactical squads. Almost. But there are 2 allied detachments that like I have like a dream of just making just to have. I really want to see someone make good use of the I can't remember the name of it now. The detachment for the Space Wolves that is basically like that Primarch Hunter detachment, or um just making a little detachment of Sons of Horus using their special praetor, or not special praetor, special centurion, who is basically designed to be like the watch dude, keeps people in line, like the mini equerry sort of thing. I think those are both really cool ideas, and I would love to. And maybe that's something I'll design for a future episode of Ineptus Astartes. This sounds like fun. Yeah, the Exodus not being unique thing cracks me up. John, did you ever get word if it was going to be okay for you to bring a second Alfarius to that event? Their Legacy HQ. Oh, in the Legacy units? Huh, really? That's interesting. There's a dog behind me who just came in from outside. I watched her eat, so I'm not sure what her problem is, but she's power whining at me. That's right. We got multiple Alpha Legion players in the chat tonight. Headhunters are good this edition, yeah? I think Seekers are good. Yeah, I saw you say something about that you've been pretty heavily decimating him. I don't know if you saw Joe, but the shirt came in. He sold his Sons of Horus, the guy you'd been playing like 3 times. Damn, Joe. Why you gotta be so mean? Oh, that's right. You know what? I think I did see something about that. He was going back to Mechanicum. Well, okay, as long as he's happy. Building up his armies is fun. Painting up armies is fun, and I guess if you can sell them for a profit and use it to pay for another project, then that's a pretty cool thing to do. All right, man. Talk to you later, Joe. You didn't bug Alex yet? What do you mean? I missed it. What? I'm missing the context, John. What are you talking about? What neat projects have you been working on? Well, Marcus, I'm going to be talking about it in my next podcast anyway, but I made the bright choice to start an entire Iron Hands project like a month and a half before Adepticon. So I've been working on that. The big thing was the push for Beta Garmin, which was an event that Ben and I have been playing every month since August, basically. And we had been planning on bringing certain forces. And then through our own play and the narrative, I at least kind of played myself out of it, where it didn't quite make sense to try to do it that way anymore. And so I'm looking for new forces to use. And so I'm putting together an Iron Hands force to go along with a small Mechanicum force. And I'll be playing that primarily at Adepticon, which I'm pretty excited about. Oh, you didn't ask about being the Alfarius Ringer. Got it. Oh, why not? Just message him. I'll message him for you. I'll bug him. That doofus. I love how hostile you are to this new person that you've never met who wants to play Horus Heresy. That idiot. Going to bed, wife? Good night. Home slice. When are you going to get your hammer? What are you building? It's a good question. What I need is we're getting we get some home repairs down in the basement. And then maybe after we get some things taken care of in the basement and I can reorganize some things, maybe I'll dedicate and set up a place that's more of like I don't know. Sounds a little bit arrogant to call, or not arrogant, presumptuous, overly ambitious to call it a studio, but a place where I could put up a camera of that as well. That would be pretty cool. Because right now we're literally just in the kitchen, as you can tell. You know what I should do next week is test how bad it would sound to listen to you guys on the Discord as you guys are chatting, Jim, and chat with you while also streaming it at the same time. So I'm nervous that it would cause weird sound problems. What happened to my Iron Warriors? Nothing happened to my Iron Warriors. Those are here. I still have those. I just I played a lot of them this edition already, and I wanted to do something different. Last Adepticon, I took my my scars, and the last time we did Horsey Heresy, I took Mechanicum and Iron Warriors. So I just try to do something a little bit different every time I go to a con. And I think I'm going to Bug Eaters this year as well in Omaha. Hopefully. So I'll do something different for that as well. We are talking while watching you with private eyes. Very good. So that is the thing. I don't know how to set that up. What I could do is I could just get some headphones or something and then put my audio through that. But I'm streaming from a Mac, and so once or twice I've tried to do little things where I like interview somebody, or have a guest on the podcast, and the Mac programs are just a little weird and finicky when it comes to trying to record things like that. And I'm not like super tech savvy enough to figure it out, even with like YouTube and whatever else. You are the gatekeeper the internet worries about, John. That's 100% correct. 100% correct. You know, is Mastodon getting plenty of views? The Mastodon is going to show up at Adepticon, man. It's going to be an Iron Hands Mastodon. That's the plan, anyway. I got a lot of painting to do. Got a lot of painting to do. I need to get at least one, maybe two more episodes of the podcast in the can before Adepticon. And I need to record a video essay. Got a lot of stuff to do in the next couple of weeks. The Mastodon, I will tell you, is hilarious. It is also just plain terrible as far as the rules go. It's bad. What's really funny about the Mastodon, to me, this edition, is that because it is a super heavy transport, it automatically detonates if it's destroyed. It's not nearly as tough as far as it doesn't have like extra rules to like make it safer to ride in and stuff like that. But because it automatically detonates at AP2, or at AP3, I'm sorry, you can't put anything in the thing that has a 3+ armor save, because everything inside when the thing breaks down is going to take a strength 8 AP AP3 strike, so you'll instant kill everything inside it. So the only thing it can transport is Terminators and Dreadnoughts, essentially, which is hilarious. But again, like further limiting its usefulness. And it's so many points. It's unbelievable. It should be like 100 points less. But it's still fun. I played it in a game versus who was it against? Oh yeah, against Ben, and he couldn't kill the thing. It was funny. Is it painted yet? Not yet. Not yet. Calm down. I didn't know what I was going to do with it for like a year. I just picked it up for me because it was such a sweet tank. Yeah, you have a unique problem because you basically built your list for a specific thing that no longer exists anymore. Because Golg doesn't he doesn't make Terminator's troops anymore, does he? Or something? That part of him changed somehow. I'll tell you one thing that I think is funny about the Iron Warriors is that Tyrant Siege Terminators are ridiculous this edition with 2 wounds, and the ability to return fire when you shoot. Nobody's shooting at those things. No, so the way it works, Marcus, now is that you have reactions, and one of the reactions you can do is to return fire. So you are technically limited to 1 reaction per turn, but you have certain warlord traits that allow you to react more often in certain phases of the game. Hazel, hey, leave that cat alone. Come here, dummy. So, I mean, basically, just like you either need to bait it out of them. If you're going to shoot at them, you need to try to make them use their allotments of reactions someplace else beforehand. Otherwise, yeah, they're just going to toast you. They're just going to toast you. And the other thing too is that you can pretty easily give them an augury scanner by putting a character in with them, like a master of signals. So then they can have a reaction for someone entering play, and so you get a free shooting with them. And he's just a praetor with a sick chain fist. That's too bad. So how many Terminators do you have? Can you just run it as a Pride of the Legion? Pride of the Legion is really different now, though. I wonder how many chuds with Fury of the Ancients we're going to see at Adepticon. In 1 game turn, they can pump out 70 missiles. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're absurd. It's the R word. Okay. Yes. Yes, but it is. No, they can do so much. And like, for whatever reason, they gained flak missiles. So like, they can be your anti-air as well. Ooh, here he is, folks. Josh is in the house. Josh, you should drop a hot link in the chat for where people would go if they want to buy a sweet, sweet, beautiful Horus Heresy mug. I don't have mine nearby. Tyrants, tyrants, tyrants. That's right. Do I have my cup? No. I don't have my cup here. I was gonna try to give you that. I was trying to advertise for you, man. Not that your shit really needs advertisement, but for real. You're bringing Solar Rocks to Adepticon, right? The Maniple is nice. Yeah, see, that is the problem with the Pride of the Legion, the limited to one heavy support squad. That's rough. That's very rough. One that you gotta just take a whole bunch of like Land Raiders and Spartans as dedicated transports. Try to make it through that, but that's kind of a tricky thing, especially considering what I know you have in your list. You dusted off your Iron Warriors, nice. I do like my Iron Warriors. The last big game I played with the Iron Warriors, I made a friend so angry I thought he was gonna uh, not be my friend anymore. That's a summary way to put it. Yeah, they were my first heresy force as well. My first army, though. Why don't you play them? Are you just enjoying building new things, doing new stuff? I was telling Marcus and others in the chat here that I think I just kind of want to do something different every Adepticon. And although I never brought my Iron Warriors to Adepticon, they're not painted super great because they were the first thing that I painted coming back into the hobby. But then also, I just have other ideas and things that I want to build. That's, that is true. That is true. I think I've seen you saying similar things in the chat. Winning with Solar Ox is like 55% luck or so. Nice. You will master them. What are you going to run? What pattern are you going to run? Solar pattern? Ultramar pattern? I'm not even sure if I'm using the right terms. For when I was briefly 75% luck. There you go. When I was looking at the rules briefly, I thought that the reborn cohorts looked narratively fluffy anyway. But I also like an armored cohort, just tercios of Lehman Russes. That sounds pretty dope too. Oh yeah. I'm kind of building and working on an all tanks or mostly tanks list right now too. For me, it's because I haven't really done all tanks in Heresy yet. Um, and I saw a narrative option to do so, but that's too bad. Heavy 9-2 Sunder Brutal too. Yeah. Is that the Vanquisher cannon? Excuse me. Yeah. In this edition, you've got to be able to kill dreadnoughts. You got to be able to kill dreadnoughts. If you can do that, you got a good chance of hanging on the table. If you can't do that, you do not have a good chance of hanging on the table. Terminators too. Yeah, Marcus, dreadnoughts are busted right now. No, you don't follow the updates so much, but they're real strong. 6 Vanks and 3 tank hunters against Monsters. Monties are. Oh yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, I forgot he was running. I forgot Monty was running that Blood Angels armored spearhead. The beautiful army. Terminators and tanks. I was joking with Alex from Death and Betrayal that my iron hands are going to be the 4 T's: tacticals, tanks, terminators, and to dreadnoughts. That's basically going to be the entirety of my list. And the dreadnoughts in that list mostly because I can't put much else in the Mastodon. But you can put dreadnoughts in a Mastodon, which is pretty funny. Contemptors go down like a cheap to dreadnoughts. Exactly. That should be a shirt. That's a shirt idea. Gentlemen, remember the 4 T's. So I think you can take more than 2 now because it's not limited to a 2 transporter bay. But even if it is, the way I have it kitted out right now is it'd be hauling about 10 Terminators and 2 Dreadnoughts. Hold on. Loud dog needs to go outside. So you know what? I'm sitting right in front of a computer. I'll look that up for you, Marcus. Well, once my files finish loading anyway. So the Mastodon Bay has the Transport Bay rule. And Transport Bay simply says let's find it. Searchable PDF, go. I believe you can just haul as many as you want. Four Predator squadrons. I tell you what, I would never put 4 in a squadron. That's interesting. For him, did the penalty of having all 4 of them be able to be shot by the same 10 last cannon team? What was the benefit of putting them all together like that? I guess. I mean, other than 4's org chart limitations, because that would obviously be a thing. Have multiple 4-tank squadrons. Yeah. You know, one thing that I keep looking at, I'm keep realizing as I'm designing my tank lists is that I'm doing this because I like some of the big toys, but I'm not taking advantage of all the cheap tanks. You know, like I'm not spamming Predators or whatever else, which I suppose could be seen as a weakness for the way I'm building this list. But he outflanked with the second squadron. What was he playing? And you said he was playing Iron Hands, so he was doing Head of the Gorgon. So we could outflank those boys. Yep. I have dreams of an outflanking Mastodon. In Head of the Gorgon. I think that would be hilarious. I'm just excited because I'm going to be bringing my Land Raider Achilles, which has been one of my favorite models in tanks, and it's a stupid idea and it's a bad tank, but I'm just excited to put it on the board, see it try to kill something. You know, once Ferris got to my tanks, it was ugly. Did give you rounds of shooting, right? You know what's hilarious, and admittedly, like it's not very lore friendly to put him in, but just realizing that a tank heavy tank heavy army with Ferris Manus is an army that has a 4+ feel no pain in all of its tanks, because there's no reason you're not going to buy the blessed auto simulacra for 10 points, and then you take Ferris's basic 5+ feel no pain buff and it stacks up to a 4+. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Yeah, exactly. Admittedly, thankfully, that doesn't apply to the vehicles. Because can you imagine trying to kill a bunch of armor 14 vehicles that, were effectively armor 15? It'd be nuts. John, though, you got me thinking. Maybe a squad of Iron Hand Seekers would actually be pretty good. I think Seekers are strong this edition. Having their -1 strength incoming shooting ability, you're going to probably try to keep them out of harm's way anyway. You're going to skirmish them. It might actually be kind of a fun unit. The close range is rough. However, especially if you go with Hammer of Olympia now, the Fury of Olympia kind of overcomes some of that with like the fact that you can still get 2 shots at decent range. I think it's good. I actually have a lot of fun with those pinning bolters. Oh yeah, I mean, I think the Achilles will be good, and I think it'll especially be good in an Iron Hands list because of the extra bit of durability that it will have from the better it will not die. The one thing that I found, pinning is a monster. 100%, it's a monster. One thing I found is that in this edition, because you need to, there's like problems like that when you're building your list. You have problems that you need to address. So you need to worry about dreadnoughts in this edition. So you plan for dreadnoughts. And what are the things that are really good at killing dreadnoughts? Well, last cannons are pretty good at killing dreadnoughts right now. Other dreadnoughts are pretty good at killing dreadnoughts. So let's say you want to build a friendly list and just bring like a couple of tanks or something like that to go along with whatever else it is you're doing. If you're planning on killing 2 or 3 dreadnoughts, you have enough last cannons probably in your list to handle one odd tank that somebody is bringing. And so I noticed in my list that if I bring like 1 or 2 tanks, they don't usually last very long because they weren't necessarily planned for or allotted for by my opponent, but they end up being easily killed as a byproduct because they were looking for something else to shoot. So I would bring that Achilles in Dark Angels lists, and it would just get smoked because it was the only, it was one of the only armor or dread targets that I had in my army, and so all anti-tank only had like one practical thing to do and just kill that tank. So I think I played it in 3 different variations of my Dark Angels lists. And I think 2 of the games that I played it in, it didn't make it out of its deployment zone. It got shot and killed before I got to move it fully or even act sometimes. So I'm hoping that in this mostly tank or heavy tank list, I'll be able to enjoy the feel of it a little bit more because not all of my tanks will be getting destroyed right away. And you're banking on at least a little bit of the fact that people aren't going to have enough anti-tank just to destroy you entirely right away, unless you're against Iron Warriors. Then I might be sunk, but that's fine. Conversion beamers, there you go. I haven't even really looked at conversion beamers this edition, to be entirely honest with you. Those might be kind of fun to put on some predators. John, what was it that Trevor's going nuts over? Melta predators? He thinks are really good. I keep looking at the plasma predator variant. At least for an option that a pretty decent sized template and decent anti-infantry option. The Predator cannon. Yeah, I mean, you can't beat it for its the efficiency of its points, that's for sure. Pred cannon with las cannon sponsons, huh? How much are those sponsons? Pull up my book. Oh my God, so many choices. So many. Oh, here we go. All right. 120 points base. Yeah, I gotta say the Sponson Mountain last cannons for 10 points a model. 5 points for last cannon is really cheap. That is really cheap. Three shots at 36 inches. That's pretty good too. How much is the melted hand cannon? 20 points. Still a lot of points. Huh. Yeah, that is decently strong. No, 100% with the ability to move and whatever. That is a very, very acceptable threat range. What's interesting though is that, God, where is it? The Magma Melta Cannon is 20 points per model for the one gun, which is good for that Magma or that Melta profile. But for 10 points cheaper, you can get 2 last cannons. And I think that might be better. You almost always have the option with the sponsons, because of the sponson rule, to shoot one of those guns at a different target if you have to. I think that might actually be a bit of a way to go. Yeah, you're right. The Melta is good. Melta is good, Marcus, in general right now, because Armored Ceramite is gone this edition, so there's no Melta protection anywhere, and it's one of the few weapons that has built-in armor bane. But you do have to be within half range. But with the melted gun on the Predator with a 36-inch range, I mean, 18 inches is doable. Might be a little bit more close for comfort than you want to be, but yeah, you're right. I think Sponson last cannons are definitely the way to go. That's interesting. I feel like that's cheaper than other Sponson weapons are. How much is the Kratos Sponson? I feel like I looked at this before and was turned off by the idea of giving them last cannons. Kratos. Yeah, the Kratos getting 2 Sponson mounted last cannons is 25 points a model. It's more than twice. Huh. Well, that's really cheap. It's like you're definitely paying on the Kratos for the fact that it's on an armor 14 hull, probably with a flare shield. 13, 12, 10 though is not 13, 12 is not nothing. And now it's only 130 points, 140 points, 145 points. Hello, Easily. No, you're absolutely right. I think I would prefer the Sunder and the range benefit. 100%. Dang, boys, it's time to rethink Predators. The tanks, that is. Shout out if you're listening, NSA. Yeah, Sunder is excellent. Last cannons were already quite excellent, but with Sunder, they're ridiculous. Okay, now I just got to look. What other vehicles can you get that cheap of sponsons on for? Stop building cataphracti. Start researching. So the Predator can get him for 10 points. The Sakaran can also get them for 10 points. Huh. The Arcus can get them for 10 points. Looks like a lot of the Sakaran, all the Sakaran sponsons, all of the Sakaran variants can get them for 10 points. The Kratos is toast. And how much is the front mounted last cannon on the whole front mounted last cannon on the Land Raider is 15. It's not as bad as I thought it was initially. Normally, when I think of Land Raiders, I just think of them as land boats, so I don't really necessarily even think about upgrading those weapons, but that's interesting. Hey, Adrian. Don't look at the Ox last cannons. Are they very expensive? Or similarly priced with a lower ballistic skill? Yeah. That's a bummer. More expensive BS3. Yep. Duncan. Good to see you, buddy. Phalanx blades do solve most problems if you're a World Leaders player, and cause a lot of problems if you're not a World Leaders player. Yeah, so let's take a look at that one, because I was actually thinking about that too. I don't have a room for it in any of my lists currently, but the neutron laser Sakaran. Where is that? Arcator, Scorpius, Land Raider, Vindicator, Proteus. Scrolling forever. So the Sakaran Venator Squadron is 200 points. And you can get a bit extra blast cannons. The neutron beam laser. Let me look at that. It's good, but there are some issues with it, if I remember correctly. Let's take a look. I can't find it. Hold on. Hold on, team. Okay. So 36 inches, strength 10, AP 1, ordnance 2, concussive 3, shock pulse, and gets hot. So the shock pulse is great because that's making your opponent. Uh, that's making your opponent. What's it called? Snap shoot. uh, It's making your opponent snap shoot. It's strength 10, it's AP 1. So you've got a nice bonus to your damage roll, and it's got a good penetration, excellent strength. 36 inches range is a little short, but not too terrible. It's an ordnance weapon, which isn't going to matter that much. But one of the things is that maybe on that vehicle you don't want to take sponsons. But it's a pretty powerful thing. Yeah, it's not as nearly as big of a penalty as it used to be. Yeah, ask the chat about recommendations for airbrushes because I just use whatever's cheapest and I'm a terrible airbrusher. So what says the hobby chat about that? Wait, what sucks, Duncan? It doesn't suck. You think the Venator sucks? Why does the Venator suck? Tell me why it sucks. If I've missed it, go reread Ordnance. Okay, let's go reread Ordnance. When making shooting attacks, a model with this equipped with this ordnance weapon fires the number of shots indicated in its profile after its type. A non-vehicle model carrying an ordnance weapon cannot attack with it in the shooting phase if they moved in the preceding movement phase. Ordnance weapons cannot make snapshots. Furthermore, if a non-vehicle model attacks with an ordnance weapon, that model may not make any further shooting attacks with any other weapon in the phase, nor will be able to charge, etc. Vehicle models that fire ordnance may also suffer some restrictions based on the distance they have moved that turn. Ordnance weapons hit with such force that when you roll to penetrate, roll 2 dice instead of 1 and pick the highest result. All right, let's go to 205 and see what the additional restrictions are. I don't remember being them that bad, Duncan. Tell me what I'm missing. Show me, guide me on the way. 205. 205. Vehicles in the shooting phase. A vehicle moving at combat speed may only fire a single ordnance or destroyer weapon. And if it does so, then all other weapons must be fired as snapshots. So you have to move combat speed. No more than combat speed. Reread that. Okay, I'm going to reread that. Which part? A vehicle moving at combat speed may only fire a single ordnance or destroyer weapon, and if it does so, then all other weapons must be fired as snapshots. A vehicle moving at combat speed may attack with all non ordnance or non destroyer weapons with no modifications to their accuracy. What am I missing, Duncan? I'm a very dumb man. If you go faster than combat speed, no ordnance shots. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So it can move 8 inches and still shoot? Okay. I see what you're saying. I mean, it's not as good as a last cannon platform for sure. It's already the 36-inch range is already going to be a problem. Absolutely. Yeah, it moves the big gun. I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, I wouldn't pay for anything. Yeah, you're missing out on the max speed for sure to fire the big gun. 100%. You would rather take a regular Sakaran. Yeah, maybe. If I was playing in a meta, or if I was playing in a locale, the Predator cannon. Um, if I was playing in a community where I had a lot of people bringing like super heavies or things where I could mess with them by making them snapshot only, then I would still consider taking it. And I think the model's cool, and I'll probably get one. But yeah, it's not on my list of most necessary ones. And what? And Duncan, my hobby nemesis. Yeah, need some legal advice. I'm not sure what the town square counts for, but we are on a stream that is going to be recorded and immediately posted to YouTube after we're done. So just let that be something that you keep in mind. Can you guys hear that stupid cat? Oh, so dumb. The Maslow's hierarchy of Sakarans. Oh yeah, we hear the cat. He's dumb as hell. So chew their way out. Okay, fair enough. I would say that as far as the Sakaran variants go, um, the Arcus is still great, and I think the Plasma variant got better, but it's still not like super fantastic. The standard Sakaran's good though. The Punisher, I think. Let me see, let me look up the rules for the Punisher gun. The Punisher. Let me look up the rules for the Punisher. Brother. I don't know why I feel like I gotta talk like Hulk Hogan for this. So the Arcus is base 250. The Sakaran Punisher is 190. And the Punisher rotary cannon is 36-inch range, strength 6, AP 4, heavy 18, pinning and shell shock. So I mean, you're gonna cause a pinning check probably. Strength 6 means you're wounding on 2s. Heavy 18 means you're shooting a lot. And shell shock 1 is not bad. That's the one. Shell shock is the one where pinning tests taken with this weapon are taken at a 1 lower leadership score than they otherwise would be. So I mean, it's definitely it will make you take a pinning test, probably, because there's a high likelihood with 18 shots that you're going to cause a casualty. Um, is it super like effective? No. The accelerator autocannon probably would do. I mean, with the ability to rend, might be better, honestly. But it's still good and fun, and the gun looks cool. It's anti-infantry all day, son. An empty drive side 17. Duncan, what about 8 through 16? That is, I mean, 100% the Punisher against, especially if we start seeing armies like Ox, Questerus Knight do Avenger Pews. That's a good question. I've not looked at the Knight rules at all. So it was really funny because on the podcast, I started to open it up a little bit to like talking about like non-marine things, and I got absolutely no feedback whatsoever if I should even address those things. Like I talked about the custodes a little bit. No interaction at all community-wise from that. Joe is out of his cage. We've released the beast. Let Joe free. Let him live. Yeah, I did like one episode where I talked about them briefly, and like I didn't get one email, one comment, one anything about it. So I just dropped it entirely. I actually think that what I might do after, so I coach speech, and that is actually taking up a lot of my extra time. Once the speech season is over, I might just start doing like unit reviews on YouTube, and then I could maybe especially address non-Space Marine things on there. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like custodes, and especially since I think we're probably, I mean, I think our little narrative event that we're running is probably going to do um, Siege of Terra, so it would make sense to have custodes there. And I've got some friends that play custodes, and I enjoy playing with them and against them. But they don't excite me. I find the Solar Ox or Militia a much more interesting as far as the narrative opponent goes, but that could be me. I always thought the Custodes are interesting because it's like, here are the super soldiers. No, just kidding. Here are the real super soldiers. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess that kind of makes sense, but not really. Veldar led a petition to get all of his names off that tank. All 3 million of them, or whatever. Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense for them to be any place other than like, I mean, it would be cool to see a big battle between the Thousand Suns and some Space Wolves, Sisters of Silence, and Custodes together. That would be cool. Um, and that'd be fun list to write. But yeah, I agree. Yeah. Agreed. But that's my same problem with. Hold on a second. Envision all the custodes having a type of faces. You just can't. Yep. Knights also just as a cool idea for like. I like knights as a concept because they're all over the place in the Great Crusade, you know, like they're attached to the different crusade formations. They're fighting alongside Space Marines, and bringing a detachment of knights alongside a Space Marine force is fluffy, and it also is a cool way of breaking up the visual sameness of a force. To have the centerpiece be like a knight is just a cool idea for modeling purposes, for lore purposes, and also just for the visual effect. So I'm right with you there. It can fight a lot of players, yeah. Really? A Kansas City event? I guess I haven't been paying attention to that Discord. Yeah, I have to agree. The lack of demons is really, um, I don't like that. I don't like the lack of demons. I think it's aggravating. I also don't like the fact that Solar Ox has been out for so long, and we don't have a militia PDF. Like, just give them a PDF. Like, that's all it's going to be. There's going to be no support. Fine. The militia players don't care. Give them a PDF. They will be so happy. You know what's funny is that some of the guys in Omaha were joking, mind you, that demons would be announced at Adepticon because it had taken so long, and like this was like in December or whatever when they were like, "Oh yeah, haha." But that might really be it. We're like 3 weeks away from Adepticon. We have no words on demons, but they keep releasing models that seemingly go along with the demon range. Kabanda's been out for months. Yeah, there's that too. I might be sad. I might become very sad if um, the Heresy article comes out on Thursday and it's another tank. Well, writing PDFs has been hard because some of the ones they've come out with have not been very good. But yeah. There are a lot of things about this release that just I continue to question. And I know that a lot of it is going to have to do with um, a lot of it still has to do with supply chain issues. And I can appreciate that it's going to take a while, but still, it's just like it's after a certain point, not like Games Workshop, you are the is it arguable to say that they're the premier wargaming company in the world? Like, if somebody should be able to figure this out, shouldn't it be them? Plastic. Okay, now see, now we're talking. Like, if you give me a plastic termite, yeah, absolutely. You want to talk about the way to put out a tank article on Thursday and not get the community pissed about it is a plastic termite. That would be sick. Oh, fuck, yes, I did notice that. Typhon and Cerberus no longer being super heavies is um, not great. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's real questionable to me. That was a really I'm not sure why they did that. Yeah, when they made last cannons, so much more powerful, but then they kept the basic idea about how you can instant kill a tank. Um, and then they took some super heavies and made them instant givable. Definitely questionable. I don't get it. No, I would love to see some plastic something. Plastic mastodon. They're not going to make a plastic mastodon. They'd have to make the rules better. Plastodon. There you go. We demand plastic mastodon. That's the. Is that just your prediction, or is there a leak that says that? Yeah, plastic. Yeah, plastic mastodon for Adeptus Titanicus would be. The mastodon. Absolutely. All right. I'll work it into the next episode, guys. We'll start the campaign now. I talked to a guy to talk to a hobo. Okay. That's what he said. All right. Well, that sounds as much like an infallible source as I've ever heard of. So we've heard it here first, folks. Would you say that nobody wants these tanks? A plastics. I mean, of the tanks that they've delivered, the Sakaran Venator is the only one that I've seen that I've been like, I just don't know who's clamoring for that. Because I like the Sakarans, the Predators, the Land Raider, of course. Cestus Ram. Bless that beautiful brick. It's talk about a model that's terrible now. It's so bad. Oh, I would rather have some, especially assault squad or just arms that you can use for that sort of thing. 100%. I'm just saying that the tanks that they've done, other than the Sakaran, haven't been awful. 40k CSM players. Hey, Mike. I thought you said you were going to bed like an hour and a half ago. Maybe they'll just release the rules of plastic because sales. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Can you quit stalking the cat in his own goddamn house? Thanks. Good night, Blight. Yes, agreed. I'm fine with them leaving the regular bikes in resin until they make them not terrible. Give that slot to the Ox players. Let them have some standard infantry. You fool. The whole plot's ruined now, Joe. Yeah, I mean, I bet you can get an insane amount of troops on the board with Solar Rocks. How many resin marines do you have, Josh? Or not marines, I'm sorry. Solar Rocks. Because I have to imagine you need at least 80. Yeah, I imagine you have to have an 80. 150 las rifles and 250 Velataris. Okay. All right. Okay. That's that's a lot. That's a lot. Can you field that many? I mean, can you practically field that many? I'm sure if you make it work, you can squeeze out a lot of bodies, but like, is that's like 500 points of Solar Rocks? Yeah. Buy two bodies, get the third one free. Quad orders. Good lord. Bring a mattress for his shooting phase. 720 las rifles. Oh my god. Just thinking of the horror of watching somebody move that many models. Yeah, Warpsmith Adam. Yeah, no one would want to play you. Absolutely, they wouldn't. Why would you want to show up for a game like that? He was asking about your printer, Adam. This would just be a lot easier if there's nothing on the board. Thank you. After 100 or so bodies die in a 1 by 1 foot square, you can just count the whole thing as difficult terrain. Eschaton. Oh my god. I looked at all sorts of combinations with the Eschaton Imperative as an allied force, and there are just so many things that would just be really, really unpleasant to see and do with that. In particular, it'd be hilarious though. Just Eschaton Imperative against anyone who needs to use jump packs is funny because move and die wherever you go. I've seen John's Cobra army. Yeah, he brought it to Bug Eaters in 2019, maybe. Can knights be allied in with just about any force? So knights, I believe you can take. I believe you can take knights with just about anything as an allied detachment. The big thing is that now there's a restriction on knights, and you have to take armigers with them. Not all the knights, yeah. Some of the knights are restricted or locked behind certain force orgs and whatever else, certain groups. Is that bad? No, it's not necessarily bad. It just means that you can't bring like what somebody was. Oh shit! It was actually David Coleman who was talking to me about this. You can basically only bring 3 knights or 4 knights in a 3K list because you need to bring like 6 armigers as well or something like that. Adrian, these are going in my brand new Iron Hands army. Which I decided to start building. That's right, Joe. That's right, Joe. We were repping the merch. Don't lose your head playing them. That wasn't funny, Joe. Run them dice fast. That's right. That's right. Marcus gets it. I showed my wife this shirt design and she was like, "Is it funny?" And I'm like, "Yes, Rachel. It's hilarious. It's a nerd joke. It's a nerd joke, including a reference to a music group. And the 7 or 8 people that understand both of these things will think it's very fun." Joe's new favorite unit. What's Joe's new favorite unit? Gravitat? Oh, yeah. Pretty cool. Attached apothecary and tech marine. I mean, that's the way I've been running my White Scars since the new edition came out, but only in squads of 6 because I don't have enough jet bikes. But yeah. So the tech marine is for what? BS2. Wait, why don't they get doubled out by most things? Oh, because you're Iron Hands. Duh. Duh. I don't know why I was not thinking about the Iron Hands thing. Yep. Yep. No, that's slick. That's real slick. Yeah, that might actually have been a really good unit. I don't have time to put that together before Adepticon, but it will definitely be something to think about in the future. Just one squad of jet bikes. You printed 15 bikes? You want to send me 9? You want to get them here now? You fought let me with it. It hurt you deep in your Jesus. Were you surprised by the offensive capability, or did you suspect that that's what would happen? Yeah, get on it. Give those carrier pigeons some good old Tennessee meth so that they fly up here real fast. Shout out to the YouTube content checkers. Yeah, the fun thing about a unit like that is that the return fire is just going to be ridiculous. And actually, that would be a really good unit to use the to bait with the Iron Hands reaction if you were trying to bait that sort of thing. I need to get some graviton guns for my Terminators. Horrible double shot reaction with them is where they get hot. Yeah. Yeah, right. No, I know. When I think of the when I think of the Iron Hand special reaction, I think to myself, still better than the Dark Angels one. So there's that. Yep. Choom doom indeed. I love me some Volkite. Plasma used to be my favorite weapon subtype. No more. No more and never again. Warpsmith Adam, you still in here? Volkite does schlap. And it just looks cool to paint up. I had to leave for a minute, just got back. Cool. You have any Graviton guns in that STL library of yours? My Gorgons need some. My Morlocks, sorry. Nice. Stupid capes. Dude, I don't print a lot of the capes. I don't know. 10 Phoenix Terminators, the banners, the command squad. Terrible idea, line permanent murder slime ball. So let me take a look. The first question is, do the Phoenix Terminators have anything? Do they lose anything by being in a squad with Lucius? Okay, I'm going to just scroll over the same thing over and over and over again. Skill unmatched. Excuse me. They don't lose anything. I think I would do murder slime ball. So I think there's two things to consider. One, Duncan is 100% right about playing keep away because you can totally do that. However, I would point out that in any game in which you have two Primarchs on the table and they don't fight face to face, one of you is a bad person. So, I mean, I think having the option to do that for the inevitable like direct slugfest when you got a buddy match is a cool idea. That being said, yeah, I think the Palatine blades are also really good. The big thing, because I was on the Accountability Buddies podcast a while ago, and I was talking to we were looking at the Phoenix Terminator squad versus the Palatine blades, and the biggest thing for me that I see is that the Phoenix Terminators get the spear for free and an invulnerable save. Because you can give those sort of Phoenix weapons to the Palatine blades for an upgrade cost. But I think the Phoenix Terminators are pretty cool, and those spears are pretty nice. 720 last rebels, exactly. Are they able to take jump packs anymore? I think they are, aren't they? I don't really know. Hold on. On their profile here, it doesn't. Does it say? Is that on a legacy document? The Palatine blades are able to take it? Yep, there you go. Legacy. Yep, they can still take it. Palatine Aquiline. There you go. Have a good night, Adrian. Thanks for stopping by. I think that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I actually was planning on ending this a half an hour ago, but then I just kept talking to you people showing up. I was gonna end this, like I said, 30 minutes ago, but I think I'm gonna just keep it going for a little bit because I at least want to put the shoulder pads on these Terminators. You got the I don't know if you can see the one. Special Iron Hands Cataphracti Terminator pads for these Morlocks. The cool kids are here. That's right. And you're here too, Josh. Sorry. I was joking, Josh. It was just a joke. Joe and Duncan. That's right. Joe and Duncan do make it a party. You guys would like my Iowa friends who are in here too. There's some really cool folks in here. It's a good crowd. Your printer is a bad influence. Disparage Adrian by calling him cool? Marcus, go read a book. You nerd. Reading killed me. Never again. $9,000. Yeah, that's probably true. Dude, it's gonna get wild. It's real close. I'm sorry, Joe. I'm not trying to make you sad. Yeah, no Jake either. You'd still be changing the. That's true. Yeah, I keep doing that too. I keep changing my lists. Flat versions of both? Absolutely. Copywork saves the day. Thanks for coming by, Marcus. Good luck on that test. Hey, Josh, thanks for stopping by for so long, buddy. It's good talking to you. Enjoy the burritos. Anytime, Josh. Probably going to plan on doing this every Tuesday, I think. Seems like a good a good fun thing. Later, Duncan. And maybe it's just time to end the chat. 2 hours, it's midnight. This has been another Inept as a Stardust chat. Thank you very much for being here, folks. And good luck with your hobby. Hopefully talk to you all next week, okay? Good night.